It's time for To the Max Sports, where we talk about sports. They're just two guys, Max and Drew, in a bar talking all things sports. Well, without the bar. And the beer. Wait, why aren't we in the bar?
Hello, and welcome to the Max Sports. Y'all know what time it is. Time for To the Max Sports.
Something like that.
Good morning.
Coming to you live from the Flying Whipper Production Studios out of sunny San Antonio, Texas.
Is it sunny this morning? Really?
No, it's Seattle, Texas today. Or Seattle, Washington. A little rainy. I got my angry bird to match my lovely personality.
Yep, that is the angriest bird.
Matching eyebrows.
Why is he wearing rubber?
Because that's the only place he can fit.
Maybe he's getting ready to have sex.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, going into...
So anyway, a couple things. Max, Bob, do you have the I don't care?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson.
Really?
I don't care!
Apparently, Jim Harbaugh got bum rushed at the NFL owners' meetings after it got disclosed by Lamar himself that he had requested a trade a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. That was...
March 2nd.
He requested a trade on March 2nd. He waited until March 28th to say something about it.
Yeah, you just need to say he needs an agent. He does.
He should have told someone in Congress. They would have leaked it a couple hours later. He turned down the 3-year, $133 million guaranteed, right?
No, it wasn't guaranteed. That's been the thing for him.
Sticking point?
That's the sticking point. Quarterback, I didn't realize this. I thought Watson was the only one with a fully guaranteed contract. Kirk Cousins got a fully guaranteed contract.
Yeah, he kind of set the precedent for these outrageous, if Cousins can get it. And I'm sure Lamar is looking at, doing an Allen Iverson, Cousins?
But the way that Cousins got it was he was tagged twice, and then he had an agent that negotiated. Mm-hmm. That's why he got his money. Just like, Patrick Mahomes got his money through an agent. It goes back to Lamar Jackson. Great guy, MVP. I get it. He needs an agent.
Well, I've heard a lot of teams are saying, hey, we won't even talk to him without an agent to protect not only us, but to protect him.
To protect him. Absolutely.
At the end of the day, it's still a business. Is that correct?
Yep.
He needs an agent, guys. He really does. I mean, it's sad, but his mom, I know that she's his agent, but he needs an agent.
And let me tell you, really a generational, incredible athlete, won the MVP a couple years ago. I mean, I think he makes any team he signs with an instant contender.
Maybe, depending if the system he's going into is a match for his game style, his playing style.
Yeah, to quote Harbaugh even mentioned during that bum rush that they factored everything and they put the team around him so they could set everything up so it would work for him. And again, he said he loves him. The Baltimore Ravens love him. The city loves him. Everybody loves him. He loves them. Let's get this done. But, man, he needs an agent.
Well, rumor has it Baltimore is kind of working behind the scenes to develop another package for him. But where would he go? I mean, if you're Baltimore and you decide, hey, we're going to – I'm not sure where they stand in the draft this year.
I have two teams. The first one, Indianapolis Colts. They can come up with something, and he can make them better. But the one that I would love to see – and I have it here on my notes that I wanted to talk about today. But, man, the Washington Commanders are going to be sold for around $6 billion with a B.
Oh, my God.
Wouldn't that be great?
What a way to make a splash.
Wouldn't that be great if Danny would go in there, Dan Snyder, would say, let's sign this guy. On my way out, he pretty much give the rest of the owners.
I'll tell you what, they could be a good fit because they've got a decent offense.
They do.
Their defense is not bad. They were competitive last year.
They have a nice running game.
They need a quarterback.
To your point, Max, I think it would be a very interesting FU.
Thank you.
To the league and to the other owners to basically throw in other poison pills. So now, I mean, you can say that Deshaun Watson was a mistake. You can kind of say Kirk Cousins was an interesting thing, but if you do a third one, it sets a precedent.
Oh yeah, because he's
if you want to throw your middle finger to the league, just do some contract that's so crazy that Burrows is going to get $600 million for 5 years.
Not just the league, but that, as Drew stated, that middle finger to Roger Goodell is like, here, on your way out, this is what I'm giving you. Wouldn't that be great?
I mean, he's already said he's got stuff. He's got stuff.
He does.
So I don't know. I don't know if he's a fit for that offense, to be really, really honest with you, but
it would be scary.
I would say of the teams that need quarterbacks to put him in that, I think it fits better in Indy right now.
Yeah, we'll see. But
I'd love to see that, though.
But to your point,
I don't care.
It very much surprises me. And it surprises me and doesn't surprise me. It actually disappoints me. We spent more time this week watching the ESPN sports shows and spent more time listening to Aaron Rodgers and Lamar Jackson craziness where nothing is happening than we have about any of the women's Final Four.
That's true. But, ratings do drive television. My Buckeyes went pretty deep. Female Buckeyes.
Yeah, and you have Caitlin Clark, who is a generational talent in women's basketball.
She's special. She's
very special.
Going off right now. I mean, this is some unbelievable basketball being played right now. And just watching the highlights, why aren't we watching? This is great basketball being played by an individual. Yeah, she's good.
I kind of got into women's softball last year. It was fun. It was entertaining.
Yeah.
So,
it is.
They're making strides.
So we have the men's Final Four coming up this weekend, the craziest, most wide open tournament in all of history.
Let's talk about the epic Texas collapse. My goodness. I'm kind of stoked because I live here in San Antonio, as we all do, and I'm like, man, cool. Team down the road, you get to watch them play in Houston. Houston's going to love it. They're right down the road, huge fan base. And they said right now the Houston ticket sales that were once through the roof have just.
Oh, yeah.
Can we go back? That call on Cunningham, that was embarrassing. That should have never been made because he was boxing out, and that's all he did. And when they called that a foul, which turned everything around, let me explain. So the guy from Miami would have fouled out. He ends up making 2 free throws, changes the game. I don't know if you guys watched that play, but I watched it about 5-6 times. That was not a foul. And for them to call that, people say, well, you can still win the game. I understand all that. But when you talk about momentum, they changed everything. That was shameful. That was just not necessary.
See, but unlike football, I do believe a call can change an outcome. That was a bad call. But at that point, you're still up 11 points. I mean, the game was they
went up. Miami went up, in the last 6 minutes.
But prior to that, they blew a 13-point lead with
that's because they stopped driving to the basket.
Was it coaching or was it the players? Some people are saying, the coach just they kind of stopped that attack mode and went into defense.
I think I said it a little clearer. I'll make it clearer this time. When the referee started calling those plays because the Longhorns are driving into the paint and they put this guy, he had 4 fouls. And what they did is they changed the game and started calling the other way. If you go back and look at the stats, not just because it's UT, not just because it's Austin. I'm not saying that. Go back and with your own eyes, don't be biased. Be biased. Don't be biased. Just kind of watch it a little bit, step back, and then just watch this game and go, wow, man. Now that I don't have any interest in it now, you can sit back. It's like, those are some bad calls, man. Even San Diego State, that was a bad call.
Yeah, I'm trying to wrap my head around this whole narrative of bad officiating. I have a friend who's always railing against bad officiating. And there was one game the team lost by like 20, and he's like, oh, the referees are biased towards him. I'm like, I don't know. If you lose by 20, it's not the referees. But I listened to something, it was probably 6-9 months ago, and there are camps out there for pros, for NBA professionals to go to, which are put on by former NBA officials, which teach these players how to frame a foul, how to know in space where the referees are, what they can and cannot do, and what they should or should not do to position their body in certain ways to make it look like a foul or make it not look like a foul.
Yeah.
So I don't have the time nor the motivation to really do this, but I kind of want to, which is to sit and watch the game and see where the referees are in space, where their eyes are looking, and then really dive into, okay, why did they botch the call?
Yeah.
Because I don't think the referees that are refereeing the Elite Eight are not bad officials. They're not bad officials.
They're not. One of the things Monday morning when I woke up, I couldn't sleep. I know it bothered me that much, Drew, but I woke up at 5 and I started listening to Jay, Keyshawn, and Max Kellerman on ESPN. Jay Williams, the guard out of Duke, right? Great player at Duke. Awesome. Goes to the Chicago Bears. But he talked about
Bulls.
one of the Bulls. Yes, right. That's right. You're right. Well, he was talking about when he was at Duke and he was covering one of the guys. They were in the Final Four, and Coach K called a timeout and said, "Hey, stop this guy. Grab him. Put your elbow into him. They're not calling it. They're not calling it." Jay Williams, quote, said, quote, "Coach, the referee just pulled me aside and said, I'm going to call it next time you put your elbow in his chest. I'm going to call it. Stop doing that." And he's like, "Well, you didn't call it in the beginning, and now you're going to call it?" And he says, "I already warned you. If you put your elbow in his chest, I'm going to call it." So Coach K said, "What?" So Coach K paused and kind of looked at the ref, was like, "If you're going to call it in the beginning of the game, call it at the end of the game. But if you're going to call it at the end of the game and not in the beginning of the game," again, I understand what they're saying.
But I think that's smart of a coach to recognize, maybe have to recognize a foul and say, hey, keep an eye on this. They do it in football.
No, it's reverse. The referee told Jay Williams to stop doing it because now he's going to call it.
Well, yeah.
But he let Jay Williams play that defense because he was always a great defensive player, but now he's going to change it at the end of the game. And that's what Coach K got upset, and Jay Williams. And when I heard that, I started clapping. I said, hallelujah. Same thing. I understand it's not part of them dictating the game, but be consistent is what I'm saying.
But I wonder,
because that coach for UT called a great game to get this guy fouled out, and they went after him, but then the referees changed it to protect the guy and keep him in the game.
I think the problem since time immemorial, the biggest conundrum in sports is the human element of, I had a guy tell me one time, he was a ref, he goes, I could literally call offensive holding in football every play, he goes, there's just that, until we get rid of the human element, which we're kind of doing in baseball, just because of the way the game's designed. But in tennis, they don't even have the guys. Now you won't see players anymore in tennis arguing about a call anymore, which is kind of nice. It killed McEnroe back in the day because now it's automatic.
Yeah, you
it
can
hits
see
the
it.
line.
I like that. I like that.
But those are purely objective calls. Balls and strikes. Once you define exactly what the strike zone is a purely objective call. Mm-hmm. When a shot goes off in someone's hands in reference to the clock, purely objective call. Holding, charging, blocking, carrying, all of that stuff, traveling, those are not purely objective calls. You need the human doing it. And I wonder to your comment, Max, the consistency, is it merely the referee starts the game and the conduct of the players starts and it's just kind of on the borderline and the referee's like, okay, I don't want to call that, don't want to interrupt the flow of the game. And it just slowly gets worse and it slowly gets worse and it slowly gets worse. It's like driving on the highway. I get cut off. Okay. I get cut off again. I get cut off again. I'm getting a gun. So is the referee just going, I've had enough and I need to shut this down?
Michael Douglas falling down.
Well, you know who's got the best seat in the house to watch fouls and call them is you. So why not have, we've talked about it, up in the Eagles' nest, a ref that can signal down to me, hey, this was our, why not have a sky ref?
I kind of like that. Maybe it was what Bob was saying too. But with technology nowadays, let's say that as soon as that play was called, after every play, it doesn't matter what sport it is, we can watch it in quick time. And we can watch and go, hey, man, that wasn't the foul. That wasn't a foul. And click in the ref's ears like, hey, I know you guys just called the timeout, but that wasn't a foul. Just kind of be careful. This is what we saw. But again, you made the call. It's up to you. At the end of the day, that's your call.
So a ref up there coaching the refs, and that's not necessarily a bad idea. Mm-hmm. The thing that's really driving me crazy and the biggest buzzkill is I'm watching these games. The momentum's going back and forth. It's exciting. And then they spend 5 minutes determining that the UConn basketball player was the last one to touch the ball, which I saw in the first replay. It's really just draining the excitement out of some of these games, these 3 and 4 minute sideline replays.
It's a balance thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a balance thing. Do you not interrupt the flow and let a call not be overturned? Do you spend a lot of time and interrupt the flow to ensure that the right call is made, and what's the proper amount of time?
I guess my biggest beef is I don't mind making sure the right call's made, but good Lord, does it take 5 minutes to see what I just saw in the first? And quite honestly, it looks bad with the refs all huddled. Again, they should have a sky ref. The refs just kind of gather in the middle of the court, and then someone chirps in their ear, hey, it's Connecticut. That's when to touch the ball. Let's move on. Let's get this thing going.
Speaking about moving on,
And I like this segment.
Okay.
I love what baseball's doing. Today is baseball.
Today is opening day.
Opening day.
And it's not April yet.
Did you guys hear they put pizza boxes on the field? Big plates, pizza boxes. So that's good. And explain this one to me, Drew. They don't have the shift anymore? What does that mean?
Yeah, so, I'm glad you asked that. I was reading about that. So they do have – what's going on now is you got to have 2 players on both sides, one right at second base, one left.
With at least 1 foot
in the infield. Now, what's interesting is you can shift your outfielders as long as they're in the grass. They can't come. So I could slide almost literally two guys in left field, one to center.
Drew, when you explain that.
Which is kind of interesting.
I'm sorry, not to, but when you're explaining that, in my mind who popped in my head was Tony Gwynn. If he would have had this.
But see, what I'm saying is it's got to teach players how to.
Yes.
They did that. I read a great book on Ted Williams. He was the original guy that team shifted on because he pulled everything. And you know what? He adapted. He overcame. He started beating the shift, and after about a year, but they stopped.
But isn't that called hitting?
Yeah.
Well,
and that's why he was the greatest hitter that ever lived.
Well, I mean, except the shift in the modern game hasn't resulted in people doing what Ted did. It's resulted in people swinging for the fences and slowing the game down.
But that's what the game wants.
Yes, because last year, I heard this morning, 40% with all the home runs, 40% of the, I think the scoring was due to home runs. 40%.
Yeah,
that's high.
It's you'll never see a bunt anymore. You'll never see a hit and run. It's the game is it's home run derby now.
Well, I like that. I like how they did the bases, kind of prevent the injuries. But you know what I also like, and you mentioned this about starting I think a year ago when we were doing the show. But you mentioned we can start off with like a strike or a ball or something, or kind of speed up the game. You came up with some ideas. I like this idea though with the clock. I like it.
Yeah.
It's going to speed it up. I really do.
And it is. And I've heard a lot of Major League Baseball analysts that I trust say this is going to bring us back to the way the game used to be, when pitchers worked fast, not because they had to, just because that's who they were. It's going to be interesting to see which pitchers adapt quickly to this and which pitchers start to take advantage of this. Because remember, the pitch clock is not just for the pitcher, it's for the batter too. Yeah. It's forcing the batter to do things that some batters aren't okay with. So it's going to force the batters off their, on the backs of their heels. So it's going to be interesting.
I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm an avid baseball fan. I go to a lot of the Missions games. I'll tell you, there were times I'm 7th inning and I'm just kind of squirming in my seat.
Yep. Spring training games, 2.5 hours.
I think they've done something with extra innings too, where
reinstituted the ghost runner, or not the ghost runner, the actual runner on second base.
So that'll speed the game up.
I'm excited.
There's some positive changes. Well, I'll tell you who's getting in on the baseball action is all these venues, man. They're going direct to consumer now. Amazon Prime, Apple TV, Peacock. You're going to pay to watch the game. And which kind of sucks because I know what's going to happen. I watch enough baseball that every Sunday night, you know who I'm going to see on ESPN every Sunday night? The Red Sox and the Yankees.
Yankees.
The Red Sox and the
I was
Yankees.
going to say Red
The Red Sox and the
or
Yankees.
the Dodgers.
The
And
Dodgers and the Yankees.
Yeah.
The Dodgers and the Yankees.
But then spend money to go watch that out of market game. And remember, baseball is, in the regular season, baseball is very much a regional game. So, and we've moved around a lot. So you have people that grew up in Ohio, people that grew up in Jersey, and there's no way on TV I'm going to see the Mets play. And I hate the Yankees. They could go down in a radioactive cinder for all I care. But I'm never going to see the Mets play on South Texas television.
Correct.
But I may spend my hard-earned dollars for the MLB package so I can watch my Mets. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
they're going to have a good team this year.
Well, the reliever went down, unfortunately. Was it the reliever, Bob?
Yeah.
The
Reliever.
Puerto Rican guy?
Yeah, but they still have, didn't they
Oh, yeah,
sign
they got players.
Verlander?
And Scherzer.
Max? Yeah, I know. There's a team to watch.
As long as those guys can stay healthy, they can
If
still
we can
bring
just
heat.
cut through it all and just say, who do you see in the World Series? It's because I wrote it down. That's why I was asking. I have the Padres playing the Astros this year with the Padres winning. I'm just kind of cutting through it all.
Okay.
You know, I haven't even formulated an opinion yet. I'm gonna look at some stuff, and can I get back with you on that one?
Please. And then, Bob, I think you're going to go with the Mets.
Yeah, probably. I
I'll
mean,
go with the Mets till August.
yeah,
They're good, though, man.
Yeah,
I know
but-
they lost. I know at the pitch, but they're good.
yeah, but the Mets.
What was that year? Was it 68 or 69 where the Mets had like a 10-game lead with
I think it was 68.
like 11 to play or something?
You mean like a couple of years ago?
It's like yearly. But
Drew, come
No,
on.
it's the book on the Mets.
they
It's,
had that magical year in 69, didn't they, when they won it all? The
yeah, it was
Miracle
also a
Mets?
magical year in '86.
in 86 also.
They had a good team. They should have won. They should have won a lot of World Series. When I looked at that roster, wow.
You know,
Well,
I like
solid.
the Mets. I really do. I like the Mets.
Yeah.
I like San Diego.
Why is the Mets running the Yankees?
Oh, I hate the
I
Yankees.
hate the everyone hates the Yankees.
Everybody.
Well, not everybody. And if you like the Yankees, guess what? Every Sunday night you get to watch the Red Sox for the next 4 months.
Oh my God. Okay, let's get off this.
Did we pick who's going to win the Final Four? I have UConn winning it.
Yeah, I mean UConn.
UConn.
Whoever wins that Miami UConn game, although they are saying that FAU has a great team, but I don't think they're good scorers. San Diego State, their defense is solid.
I mean, how can you overlook Miami? They beat Houston
Beat Texas.
and not in a minor way.
Yeah.
They beat Houston.
Yeah.
They came back on Texas, who was up by, I think, 13 with 11 to go.
Thanks, Bob.
But I
Sorry.
still say if Texas and Miami play each other 10 times, Texas wins 8 of them. Miami was absolutely perfect in the last 6-7 minutes of that game. Their free throw percentage was through the roof. Their field goal percentage was through the roof. They just couldn't miss. And I don't see them being perfect against UConn.
Why not?
I see UConn win that game fairly handily. The spread's 5.5.
Spread is 5.5.
I guess if I had a weapon to my head, I'd probably take UConn. I think FAU is a better team, which, gosh, Houston has to be like, really? We just got the championship game, and what kind of fan base does FAU have? And I know UConn's won a couple titles, but that kind of sucks for the host team.
Do y'all know where FAU is out of?
Florida Atlantic.
Where in Florida? What's the city?
Let me see.
Gainesville,
No.
or-
Boca Raton.
Boca Raton.
Yes.
Hey, man.
What is the largest demographic in Boca Raton?
Yes.
Retired old people.
People our age.
So we're gonna have to make sure we have ramps, so we get the walkers up. Make sure we have a rabbi at the game, because probably a pretty big Jewish population there too.
And let me tell you something. Unless you played shuffleboard in Boca Raton on a Sunday morning, you ain't living.
Oh my God! Talking about pickleball, pickle slam this weekend.
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Pickle slam.
I was going to go to that, but I injured
I'm
my
not
back.
slamming my pickle.
Do every night. What are you talking about? Yeah, they got McEnroe who's adamant about it's not a sport, but I'm going to play it. But you know what? I think these guys will come around and realize it's a sport that an old broken white guy like me can play versus tennis and be competitive with the young kids. Yeah, so I can go out there with the 25-year-olds and beat them in pickleball. Tennis, no way.
If cornhole is a sport, then pickleball is
Pickleball is a cool,
yes,
fun sport, and they're doing it at the Hard Rock Casino. I think Agassi's on board.
Yeah.
McEnroe.
That's cool.
Yeah, I think they'll come around, but I realize their first love's tennis, and quite frankly, so's mine. And if I could still play tennis, I would.
What's the over-under during Picket Slam before McEnroe makes fun of himself for always arguing shit?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. That
At this point, they're going to have fun. They're going to argue calls and are you serious?
and that's what's so cool about it. I can't wait, yeah.
It's going to be on ESPN, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
When is that? Saturday?
Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah,
Sunday.
I'll watch it.
And here in San Antonio, we're actually started today with a little bit of rain, but we have the TPC.
That starts today.
Starts today. And the winner of that gets an
Immediate
automatic
delay
bid
there.
for the Masters, which is next week.
Yeah, they'll be getting up at 5 in the morning tomorrow because they ain't
5 in the
playing
morning.
today.
Well, it's right across the street, and they've already blocked off all the roads. So if you have to leave that area, you have to take the right lane, go all the way down, and then circle around to get through traffic up there.
Well, that's also the South Texas highway system of taking the right lane, do the turnaround.
Yeah.
Wait, I need to go there. Oh, you need to go 5 miles up the road before you can do the turnaround.
And I know this, right? But then I still pull up to the officer, right? And I live right here. I live right here. Go around. But I live right here. And he's like, I don't care. Go around.
Get out of the car.
Thank you, Valero
Anyway,
Classic.
I've been at the Valero. I've walked it. If you get a chance, it's a lot of fun.
It's beautiful out there.
Hurt yourself near a par 3 and just watch these. It's just dropping darts. It's amazing.
Oh,
to see
talking
how
about
close
dropping darts, did you see Rory McIlroy's drive during the WGC up in Austin?
I missed it.
Par 4, shorter par 4, flew that ball 300 some odd yards, flew it in the air, hits the front of the green, rolls. It's within inches of the cup, off the tee.
We've talked about lengthening the course. I mean, I don't know what Jeff's thoughts are on it. He does a show with us. But, I think they need to redesign golf courses now with a lot more dog legs where you've got to use maybe a 3-wood off the tee, a 3-iron. You can't blast it, like he just did. And I know that Tiger's in some design courses with a couple of other pro athletes, but I'm all about more dog legs, and it's not driver and blast every hole. They've lengthened we'll talk about the Masters. They've lengthened the par 13 this year for that. But yeah, have some more dog legs, get the driver out of their hand. Let's have some more pot-belly bunker in the fairways, where you're penalized. I mean, really penalized if you hit it in a bunker.
Yeah, but remember golf courses, if you're a member of Augusta, which I'm not, you can go and play the same course that these pros play. So how do you design a course that is fitting for me and you that is also fitting for a pro? How do you make
that would be very easy. So you can have different tee boxes.
No,
so,
I mean, that's what we do. That's what we have.
So for an amateur like us, if they really make it tough, have the tee box 100 yards ahead of the pro tee box or 300 yards.
Okay.
I mean, that would be the quickest fix. But, the players they've outgrown the courses, literally. Having said that, Scheffler's the favorite at 8-1. Some models some models have John Rahm.
Yep. Rory McIlroy's still up there. And the live tour players don't want this to be the narrative, but this is going to be the narrative. How do the live players fare against PGA players? What is that? Do we get a live player that wins this thing? Because I think the highest one is Cam Smith.
Yeah.
I don't think we do. I don't think I don't think the live tour is battle testing these players. When you don't have a cut, when you don't have to, kill or eat what you kill,
yeah.
I'm sorry, it takes the edge off, and golf is a game of edge.
We'll see how they respond to the pressure. Well, if you want to make an easy $1,000 for the Masters, well, I shouldn't say easy. If you want to risk $20 to win $1,000, risk $20 to win $1,000, bet on Tiger Woods. He's 55-1.
I wouldn't bet on Tiger. I mean, he's sentimental, but I wouldn't bet on him.
$20, just
I like my pizza.
because.
I'll eat some pizza. So anyway, either you guys seen John Wick 4 yet?
No,
No, I
we're talking
haven't.
about that. Maybe we
saw
lots and lots of dead bodies.
Movie is a sport.
Wow.
That is,
Is it better than 3, 2, or 1?
in my mind, it is the best one since the first one.
Oh, man. I got
is it
stuff to do
long?
today.
It is long.
Oh, we're talking about the movie.
but it doesn't feel long.
Well, we're still talking about the movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're talking about you.
No, I'm not. No, we're not going down that road. No, it is long for me. It's the action is much more beautifully shot. It is a more beautiful movie than the first one. It is more artistic than the first one. The first one is special because it's a very simple story.
Yeah.
Guy gets his dog killed.
Oh, yeah, man. Come on.
Yeah, and then has a dead wife and all that stuff. This one, there's a whole lot more layers on it, but it is glorious. They have one shot where they're fighting through
No,
a
don't tell us.
house. No, and the cinematography to shoot that scene is it is mind blowing, mind blowing.
I want to see Champions with Woody Harrelson.
Of course you do.
It's kind of comedic, you know. Do you know the premise, the storyline?
Oh
of
yeah,
that one? So apparently he's, as part of his probation, he has to go and do community service where he coaches, is it high school? Disability, kids with disabilities?
I think it's just a Special Olympics team.
But they said it's it's heartwarming, it's entertaining, it's funny.
I hope so. I mean,
I'm hit and miss with Woody Harrelson.
Some of those movies.
He needs something good right now. He does.
Some of those movies, if they're done right, are good. The balance being that you have to walk for the subject matter before it gets too schmaltzy and too exploitative of those.
Yeah, I'm sure Hollywood
those
took
kids.
that all into effect,
I'm sure they did.
which is okay. That's fine. What other movies are out there?
Well, we have that Air one that's coming out next week.
Yep, it'll be interesting to see how that one's put together. I know that allegedly the story is Michael Jordan was very adamant that Viola Davis be one of the leads in that movie. It's another Matt Damon, Ben Affleck movie.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting. I'm kind of more intrigued by watching Tetris tomorrow.
Dungeons and Dragons are coming out.
Dungeons and Dragons.
I'll tell you a movie that might be 20 years from now, and that'll be the LeBron James story with Bronny, who had a pretty good game in the McDonald's All-American.
He's pretty good.
Is he NBA material?
Yeah, he is.
Some people are saying,
He is. I mean, and considering the talent that's in the NBA right now, man, you got a lot of people that play off the bench, come off the bench, and Bronny can hang. He can play. He can play his own. So he'll be good.
that should be fun. Watch his career develop. Well, Bob's giving me that 1,000-yard stare.
I have a 1,000-yard stare.
Yeah.
Why don't we wrap it up with something we haven't done in a while? Some sports trivia. One and done. This isn't, you don't get a participation trophy. If you lose, you're out.
I apparently didn't bring myself back any cards from over there, so you're going to have to, somebody's have to answer me my questions.
Could you? Well, okay. We'll do that. Actually, here, I'll hand it. I'll hand it to you, Bob.
Hold on.
Max, you're in
I'll
charge.
come over there.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we're going to choose between baseball, basketball, football, and baseball. And we're going to ask each one of us a question, and then
Why don't we, since we got baseball, why don't we just go baseball?
all baseball? We can do all baseball, yeah.
And then we'll do a lightning round to determine a winner. You want me to go first?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Go first.
I'll go to you, Max.
Uh-huh.
A runner from first slides safely into second during a hit-and-run attempt, which we talked about will never happen again.
Mm-hmm.
The second baseman who stepped on second after the runner slid in safely then throws the ball into the stands trying to retire the batter. Place the runners correctly. What? That's too convoluted. I'm gonna do something easier.
That one's easy. It's second and third.
I thought it was third and first.
The runner who had reached second is awarded home, and the batter gets second.
Okay, second and home.
Okay, Bob's out. No, I'm joking. All right, one more. That's not as. Wait. With 2 outs and the runner on first and second, the batter hits an inside the park home run.
Yes, they all come home.
The runner that was on second missed third, and during an appeal play is called out. How many of the runs count? Want to repeat that one?
Yes.
With 2 outs and runners on first and second, the batter hits an inside the park home run.
Mm-hmm.
The runner that was on second missed third, and during an appeal, the play is upheld. He's called out. How many of the runs count?
It's 2, but I want to say 3. 2?
None.
None.
So I guess the play is null and void when
When the runner's ahead of.
because the runner missed third, even though the runner on third scored.
Okay.
That's an interesting fact I never knew.
All right, this one's for
I would
Bob.
have thought one would have at least.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. This one's for Bob. In order to give his starting pitcher additional warm-up time, the manager of the home team tells the umpire his team will bat first. If this is agreeable with the other team, is this allowed?
God, it sounds so stupid.
Interesting. I've never.
that I'm sure there is some archaic rule out there that allows it. Sure, it's allowable.
No, before 1950, the home team had its choice, but the rule now states that the home team must bat last.
And the reason I thought that because I would have thought at least one team might have tried that before.
Yeah.
Man, so all I got to do is answer a question for the win.
Yep. Okay, baseball. We're going to do.
Baseball been very, very good to me.
Nope. Okay, there's a runner on third. The pitcher is off the rubber as he delivers a pitch to the batter who swings and misses it. The umpire sees this. He makes a ruling. What is the ruling?
Oh.
To me, that would be a balk and the runner from third scores.
Yep, you're right.
Okay, guys. That's why baseball is
If
my
the
first
bat-
love.
That was an easy question.
If
Not
the
necessarily.
Yes, it was.
what if the batter had gotten a hit?
I think the batter would have been called out and the runner would have counted the score.
Nope. Batter had gotten a base hit. It would have counted, nullifying the balk.
Interesting.
Though,
So if you get a hit during a balk, it counts as a hit.
yeah. Though I wonder how this works. Either of you guys watching even a little bit of Banana Ball, the crazy Savannah Bananas and the Party Animals?
Oh, I've heard about that, but no.
Some of the crazy crap these guys do.
No, but I've been watching that college thing, Bluestone
Oh,
College.
Blue Mountain State.
Mountain State. Have you watched Blue Mountain State?
No, I have not.
Watch that. It's Animal House on steroids.
It is. With a backdrop of football.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we have Final Four coming up this weekend. We have a little bit of
I think
Masters
we all agree
coming
on
up.
UConn.
No, I don't agree on
Who do you
UConn.
take?
I'm going to take Miami. I'm going to roll with the hot hand.
So you're essentially we're saying whoever wins the UConn Miami game wins the entire deal. Then
No, I'm not going to say that.
I just asked you who you thought was going to win the entire tournament.
Okay, fine, but I mean, you're discounting FAU and San Diego State, who I think here's the interesting thing, and for everyone who's listening or watching, who wants NCAA basketball the way it was when you were growing up, because I know you all are geriatrics listening to us, it's never going to happen again. This is the way NCAA basketball is going to be for the long foreseeable future. Teams are going to come up, mid-seeded teams, because none of these teams are afraid of anyone. You're a number one seed, it doesn't mean bupkis. Go out there and play.
With the portals the way that they are, these teams, I mean, a lot of them have all these upperclassmen, seniors and juniors that have played together for 3 or 4 years. So,
Well, having said that, thanks for tuning in, guys. We will catch you next week.
We will be around.
Until then, OH.
And we are out.
Bye.